Yo, we're back. Sayless podcast. We got a full house. Marquise on the boards as usual.
Yes, sir.
We got Chris in the building as always.
Yo.
E is in the building as always.
What up?
We got Lancaster Lloyd back. How was that spring fling?
That was popping. Thanks for everybody that came through and pulled up. I appreciate it.
It was good. No bullshit.
No bullshit. Nah, it don't really be a lot of bullshit at my events. I don't want to say it's because people got to face me, but it don't be a lot of bullshit at my events. You know
What's coming up next? You got anything planned?
Yeah. What's coming up next is DJ Diamond Cuts at the Village.
Nice.
Diamond Cuts.
Yeah, Diamond Cuts. She always brings a dope crowd. So
She's ill on the.
yeah, she's definitely her playlist is always dope. So
When is that?
That's April 14th. That's a Saturday, Village Nightclub. Doors open at 10 o'clock. And they're selling tickets at the door. It's just $20 at the door. So pull up, show love.
That's 3 weeks. 3 weeks away.
Yeah. And shout out to Big Al 360 because Big Al 360 is the one actually bringing Diamond Cuts down.
Big Al.
Big Al, yeah. So shout out to Big Al 360.
We have another special guest in the building. A woman who needs no introduction. My Bonnie.
Hey, y'all.
Jamina.
Mrs. Ways in the building. We got a lot to get into. First off, hold on. Let me get with the shits real quick. Regal Finesse, we never come off our throne. That is our motto. I'm not going to come off my throne today. But I just want to say two things. One, don't get in your feelings over business ever. It's always business. There's no reason to ever have feelings in your business.
Fact.
And two, you got about 6 weeks to get your shit together, fam. That's all I'm saying. We covered. Now, what's up? We got a lot to talk about, man. I was about to call him the unit bomber. The Austin bomber, I guess they caught up with him and he blew himself up. He was a troubled young man.
Yeah, according to law enforcement, and
Terrorist.
widely repeated by the media.
Call it for what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
terrorist. That's terrorism 101. He
homegrown-
blew himself up. Like, that's,
Yeah.
you can't get more, terrorist like than that.
He just didn't say Allahu Akbar before he did.
Right.
He fit the clinical definition, the textbook, the legal, all the definitions of terrorist.
So why won't they call him what he is?
Because that's not the world we live in, bro.
Yeah.
He's not a person of color, and he didn't adhere to non-Christian religion.
That was kind of a stupid question. We know-
Texas is full of white terrorists.
I hope none of them go around blowing up more black people. I didn't even know we got down like that here. Like, Trump, I'm telling you, man. Listen,
Yep.
Oh yeah, and
I don't want to blame everything on him, but he got these people acting crazy right now.
Yep.
Yo, and we talked about this before, and Marquise brought up the very important line of thought about the media coverage when this started, and we were doing an episode, and the day we did our episode, there was another attack that night, and then another one the next day, and then an unexploded package, and then they get this guy. And the interesting thing is his confession, the confession video he made, he literally says that he's fucking psychotic. Like, he tells anyone who's viewing it that he's had these thoughts and feelings for a long time, that he's sick, that he didn't know how to process it, what to do with it, so he embraced it. I mean, that's a confession and a terrorist manifesto.
So was he doing?
And we still, this young white boy that came from a nice family, he needed help. And it's like, yo.
How would that narrative have went if he was black or Latino or Arabic?
I told y'all, yo, Home Depot and Lowe's will stop selling every component you could possibly use to make a bomb the next day.
First of all, there would have been only one
one
Yeah,
white
yeah.
person would have died. It would have
Yeah.
been one bomb.
That's
because
true.
they would have
Yeah.
called him after the first
Yeah,
bomb.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's absolutely true.
Like-
You would have felt the full weight of the
Yeah.
Homeland Security,
Yeah.
FBI, CIA,
Let's just take it from
45
Texas
sent out a
Rangers.
tweet.
Yeah.
Let's just take it from the picture they showed. He looked all wholesome and,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
happy in the picture. But if he was black, it would have been a mugshot from the rip.
Yeah.
Trayvon
Even
Martin
if-
had worse pictures out
Even
than
if the
this guy.
mugshot,
Absolutely, I agree.
even if
Even if the
mugshot was
only
from,
person,
like,
if it was a black kid and the only person in his family was a 13th removed cousin that did time for 2 days, it'd have been like, yep, family
or the
of
mugshot.
criminals,
Yep.
yeah. Oh man, they would have found it, yeah, for sure.
always find it. And they
I
all-
mean, it's ridiculous. And then we have this shooting in Maryland, and the same thing. It's all problematic, but they say this is a lovesick boy. Like, nah, he is fucking murderer.
Right.
Right, but it's a white boy from what we can assume is privileged upbringing. So he's a lovesick teenager. Fuck that.
was he a student?
Terrorist.
Fuck that.
Was he a student there?
Yeah, he was a student there. And then the other sick shit about that is like we all are smart enough to know that when people do bad things, especially if they're young and they're kids, they're acting out. They're products of a broken society. They don't have outlets. They've given us signs. They've given people signs time and time again. Like this, there's not a switch that goes off, right? So people like us say, like, hey, we have to figure out how to identify these signs and give this help and prevent these problems, right? And they tell us that we're crazy for saying that bad people are going to do bad things and you can't stop them no matter what. But when it fits their narrative, they adopt that mentality, but they don't do anything about it. And then the school resource officer shoots and kills this kid. And now he's a hero.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know that dude, like, yeah, God did his job and saved people. And if that's what a hero is, then okay, he's a hero. But we still have a kid that killed a girl that didn't want to date him anymore, and a cop that killed a kid that everyone's patting him on the
Praising.
back. And it's like, I'm sure that cop is not happy about having to kill a kid.
Right.
Like, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying those words, but I would imagine that dude's going to have a lot of sleepless nights thinking about, he fucking killed a kid.
Well, to play devil's advocate here, I don't know, because there are some, and I say some that get off on killing people. If you look at, like, for example, what happened in Sacramento, shooting that unarmed kid. I forget his name. I
Are
forget
you talking
his
about
name.
in his backyard?
Yeah, in Sacramento.
Right.
Shot him 20 times. I mean, that when I hear something like that,
They didn't even give him a chance to comply.
right, I hear execution. Like that's not oh my gosh, I'm scared. Let me dump off 20 shots. That's nah, I'm offing you.
Yeah.
That,
and
that
they didn't
is-
even know how many shots they fired.
Yeah.
When they were done, they were like, what was that, 6 or 7? It's like, bro, 20.
Yeah,
Is that
the
the
one
one
that
with
said
the
he
20
emptied his clip.
Yeah.
And the phone
Is that
was
the one
white.
with the phone?
It wasn't
Like,
even
they tried to
it
say
was
he
a
had a
white
gun, but
phone.
it was a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you think that was a gun?
Yo,
You
I
didn't
read
think-
somebody-
Even if you did thinking you had to shoot, you don't gotta shoot 20 times.
Exactly.
Yo,
I want to
and
make sure we say this young man's name because I want to put a face on.
yeah, say his name.
His name is
Go-
Stephon Clark. He's
Yep,
22
Stephen
years
Clark.
old.
Yep.
And
Imagine-
I don't care what he was doing that day. He did not deserve
No,
to die.
no.
So,
It doesn't matter if he
let's
was
put
trying
that
to
out
break
there.
into every car in his neighborhood.
Yeah,
Every
two
single-
kids.
Yo, but here's
He had
the
two
thing.
small children,
Imagine
too.
chilling in your backyard, your grandparents' backyard, your family's backyard. You're just doing whatever. Helicopters flying around overhead. You're like, man, what the fuck's that helicopter doing? Next thing you hear is freeze, hands up, bang, 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 and he dies knowing that no one is going to blame the police and that they're going to say he did something to cause his own death. Like, he died knowing that.
This is something.
That's fucked up.
This is
Yeah.
something I feel
In his own backyard.
In his own bed. Yep.
like.
And they said it was his grandmother or his aunt, whoever it was,
his
looks out the
grandmother.
window and sees him dying.
You're not even safe in your own house.
Like, what the
feel-
fuck,
crazy.
man?
I feel, and
Terrorists.
it's
That's
almost
crazy.
it's almost like we're supposed to get we kind of are used to it. Like, we know those cops ain't going to jail. We know there will be no punishment. We know when they pulled up on him, they had every intention. They didn't go to the taser. They didn't do nothing. They shot him.
They said, "Show us your hands."
They
Bang,
put
bang, 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 bang.
20 bullets in him within seconds of seeing him.
And this is, I mean, this is so many times we can't even count.
So
we
let's
can't
talk-
count this.
Let's just Sean Bell, Philando Castile,
Yes.
Trayvon Martin,
Samir Rice.
Samir Rice,
Sandra Bland.
Sandra Bland. Like
If it ain't a gun, it's a chokehold.
these are,
You know,
these
Eric
are just
Garner.
the people that they make national news. This shit happened. This shit been happening.
So like,
Like
you ain't safe in your community. You ain't safe in your school. You ain't safe in your church. You ain't safe in a movie theater. We have more guns than anywhere else in the fucking planet ever.
Black people,
And we
are-
ain't safe nowhere.
the only
And yeah,
thing
and
I
if you're
can tell
dark,
you is if
you're
you're
less
black,
safe.
There's no advice to tell you to be safe around police. I can't give you the advice. If you're black, there's a target.
Yep.
That's just it. I'm scared for my kids. I'm a father. I'm scared for myself sometimes. When the cops pull me over, my heart drops to my stomach every single time. We can't even be. I don't feel safe around the police.
Yo, but there's people that don't understand that that's the reality for Black America, for persons of color.
They
like
don't.
they cannot grasp that you have that fear, that real tangible fear in the back of your mind, in the pit of your stomach. It does
you have-
not compute to them.
You have some people that might pop off on the police when they pull over, but the
It ain't-
reality is most black folks get scared when they
Exactly.
come in contact with the police, or at least uneasy, because
Yep.
we don't
Yeah.
know. We just don't know, and it's fucked up. But then they talk about, they always say, well, there's a lot more good police than there is bad police. You know what?
Bullshit.
I think that's debatable.
Yeah.
You know
Because-
what? I told my mom this. She said that a while ago about something, and I said, you know, I'm gonna call bullshit on that. Because if there's more good police than there are bad police, the good police would make sure they got rid
Exactly.
of the bad police.
You're not a good cop if you know the bad cops doing shit.
Right.
You got your mouth shut.
Right.
You want
That's
every
really
criminal.
what it boils down to. And so the adage, there's always a few bad apples. Well, guess what the fuck happens with bad apples? They spoil the whole batch.
Whole bunch.
So anybody knows anything about agriculture, you get rid of the rotten shit or all of its trash.
Then you got all the police when they want to solve a crime. They say, "Oh, we can't solve it because nobody in the city's talking. Nobody wants to talk." Y'all don't talk when y'all are fucking up.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so how you expect us to talk?
Right.
Blue code.
Yeah, we supposed
Exactly.
to trust
Blue
you.
code.
Exactly.
Blue code.
The thing with Stefan's story, in particularly, and for me, why it hit home, it is because I had something similar to me happen when I was living in Jersey. I was living in a apartment complex, and I had my back screen door open. Now the back screen door, it was a little rickety and everything like that, and you know, as men sometimes we're not as handy as we should be around the house, so the back screen door didn't have a screen door. It was just open. So I don't know who it was, but the apartment complex took it upon themselves to call the police and everything like that. So this is my day off. It was like a Wednesday afternoon. My daughter's taking a nap. And like I'm watching TV, but in my peripheral, I'm seeing like all this activity going on in like my backyard. So I'm like, what's all this stuff going on in my backyard? So I walk out, mind you, my backyard. I walk out, 6 cops. I'm like, yo, what's going on? All 6 of them pulled their guns out. Put your hands up! And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I live here. Put your hands up. We got a report of a break-in. Put your hands up. So I'm like, look, what's going on? Shut up. Shut the F up. Put your face on the ground. So I'm like, all right, put my face on the ground. Cop comes over, handcuffs me. All right, throws me up against the wall. And then he's like, what are you doing? Why are you here? And I'm like, I live here. He was like, no, you don't. We have a report of a break-in. I was like, there's wedding pictures of me hanging up inside. Like, check for yourself. So after about, I'm saying about 2-3 minutes, still handcuffed, still handcuffed, mind you. 2-3 minutes, cop comes out and he's like, makes a gesture like it is him. So, they...
We're not going to
bring
get
me-
away with this one, guys.
They bring me inside. Mind you, I'm still handcuffed. They bring me inside, all right? And there's 4 cops standing over my daughter. And I'm like, all right, what's
She's
going
terrorized.
on? What's going on? Like, why did you guys come through the front door? Like, how'd you get into the front door? Right. So, mind you, still handcuffed. So, after everything gets settled, I'm livid. I call my wife first, then I'll call my dad, I call my mom, call my brother, you know what I mean? So then after that, I call the leasing office. And I'm like, what's going on? The first thing she did was chuckled and said, oh, I'm so sorry. That is our mistake. We are just so embarrassed, but I promise it won't happen again. It's just a mistake, but it's really for your own safety, sir. And I was like,
Oh my God.
there were 6 cops that pulled their guns out on me when I came out in my own backyard.
Terrorize you and your daughter.
Right.
And be
It could
like,
have ended
it was
differently.
for your own safety, man. Get over it. That's fucked up.
It could have ended
a very
differently.
similar story. And this happened right here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So shout out to the Lancaster PD.
And what he means by that is fuck y'all.
Yep, she speaks for me when I don't want to say shit. Yo, but they came in. They I had what do they call the glass sliding doors?
Yeah.
They popped my shit open. What was it, like 5 in the morning?
Yeah, like 4.
I was in the buns. Like, what are you talking about? We was getting it in and all that shit. They popped the door open. I'm like, what was that? I come out and draws in a beater, and there's 4 or 5 cops in my house. They draw their
Maybe like
guns.
6.
My kids come out. They're screaming, crying because they see that their dad is pretty much got guns in his face and shit. And then the one cop tries to get past me to get in the back, and she's not dressed. So I was like, "You're not going back there." He said, "I'll go where I want." So I get to blocking them and shit. They trashed me right there in front of my kids. Like, they started fucking me up.
They broke my wall.
They put a hole in my wall. I was a little bruised up and shit. They bad. You know, these motherfuckers was in my house for a parking ticket that was like 8 years old.
Yeah. Yo.
That's the day you came and picked me up.
Yeah. But Billy, how many times is that always the shit? Do you remember when I dropped my cell phone in the sewer, and we called the city and the police and asked for help, and they told us we were on our own?
Yep.
And that night we went out to Walmart and got like the fucking like fishing net or something. And on our way back, they pulled us over and hassled us for like 45 minutes to try to say you stole your mom's car. And we were like, get the fuck out of here. And they were it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit, yeah. By that time we went to Lucky's and got some cheeseburgers, and we drove to Brill's house, and they rolled up on us, and they spent a half hour trying to figure out how they could jam us up. Right. It was like, if I was driving, didn't have a problem with anywhere we went or whatever we did. They saw your face behind the wheel. We gotta check these guys.
We always fit the description.
Yeah, always fit the description. They proved that you stole your mom's car like 19 times one summer.
They did, or they would say, "Oh, we have a whole bunch of this same type car model."
Like, bro, we're from here. Nobody else got this fucking car.
I'm driving a purple Saturn, fam. You think I'll be
like
doing
Barney.
this by choice? Yo, but it's crazy that we're just what? We're just a couple guys in here talking and we're sharing our experience. This is shit that goes on with black people, Latino people all over the country every day. This is every hood America.
You know what was the funniest about when they ran into our house though? The guy made it through because they cuffed Billy, and I was in the bathroom, and the cop ends up coming in, and I'm getting dressed. I'm spazzing. I'm cussing him, his mom, his grandmother. I'm going all the way
Not
to
you,
100.
Jasmine.
I know. I come out the room. I see my son and my daughter snapping. I look to see what they snapping about, and Billy's in cuffs. I'm coming at everybody's throat, snapping on them. Not once did they cuff me. Not once did they they just left him cuffed. And he's the one chilling, and I'm the one like, well, fuck you, your mom, your sister. Like, I'm snapping. Like, you coming in my crib, you're breaking in my door. What happened to knocking? Yeah. Oh, well, we had probable cause. Your probable cause is that you see our vehicles outside. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You could have knocked on the door. You could have left a card on the door over a parking ticket. Is it that real? Because I don't see shit getting done out here. Where's all that money going to? Your streets are horrible. Your schools need funding. Community programs need funding. But you got to come and get this parking ticket from 8 years ago?
And see what they're trying to do. It's the whole tail light situation. Like, they were hoping that, okay, we're going here for a parking ticket, and now we fell upon kilos.
Yeah, we're going to find keys.
You know, so that's what they were.
Keys go.
Right. And it's like, we did a good job, you know. But otherwise,
DA
like,
will have them on the front page.
Right. Those kind of stories, those are the ones that don't get told because, you know, thank God nothing happened. But, you know, well, in the grand scheme of things, nothing happened. Like, nobody's life was taken. But these are the stories that are.
But in both of those instances, your children saw you and you being terrorized and your homes being violated by the pigs.
Listen, this is
by
true
the
story.
pigs.
After this happened, it was funny because after all this happened, you know, we talked and processed with our kids, and our kids are pretty intelligent kids. And I ended up that summer, I took them to my friend's house, and we're on the porch. And this cop comes riding by. Do you remember that? This cop comes riding by. Yo, there's like 50 kids on this porch. Like, we're in the hood. All the kids is out eating popsicle sticks. And this one little girl goes hi to the cop. Leave it to my daughter to be like, well, I'm going to say hi to them. We don't bang with them. We don't talk to them.
That's why when you say my man was called a cops, we're like,
and everybody's like, whose kid is that? And I'm like, mine right here, because I educate them early. Like, I educate them early. But that was her reaction, and it is like that till this day. She doesn't bang with them.
They broke in our crib, and she called the cops.
Oh, yeah.
And they came, and they started questioning us.
They came at me. Listen, they came
that
at
was
me
the only time we've ever called the police, ever. And the only reason I told her to call the police is because we was across town. Me and Chris was across town at a bar.
Yes.
And Tails, shout out to Tails.
It doesn't matter where we were at. Come on now.
That doesn't.
Jasmine always keeping them fucking details. I'm waiting for her to talk about the parking lot of Conestoga. And we was like, what'd you say, officer? What the fuck did you say, officer?
Yeah, that was another one. I was around
anyway, we was across town at some establishment. And it was going to take us a while, so I was like, yo, call the police, because somebody broke in while she was in the bed.
I was taking a shower. I thought it was him. And we lived out in Lancaster Township at the time. And I thought it was him, so I'm talking shit like, yo, you trying to scare me? Don't play with me.
The only acceptable reason to call the police is you are afraid for someone you love, and you can't get there faster than that.
Absolutely.
Here's the crazy shit. We got there before the police.
Yeah, we did.
Way before the police.
And I called them before I called. I wasn't calling the police.
I took a walk to the tree line. And drop something out of my pocket real quick. Spray some Lysol.
And he came in there and was really coming at me like I broke in my own house. And I'm telling them, and he was like, well, why wouldn't you call us first? Why would you call your husband? I was like, because I don't call y'all for nothing. I call my husband.
And immediately they were like, we're not sure we really want to put much effort into policing over here on this.
Yeah, so Billy was like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, they said, how many times did they ask us how much money was taken?
Yeah.
Or how do we know it was this much money? Or how do we know this? How do we know? I was like, you know what? Get the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're worthless right now.
It was like, thanks a lot, officers.
Right. Thanks for
and
nothing.
Needless to say, the next day we went and bought our first gun.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you'd have came out your bedroom that morning you was in the buns and they broke in your house. Imagine if you came out the bedroom with your piece.
I asked him that
you were getting robbed.
You know what though? I asked him that.
No, you would have got blown away.
I asked him that. I said, what if I would have came out and I would have shot you? I said, you didn't say police, you didn't nothing. You broke in my house. I said, I'm licensed. I said, what if I would have came out with my gun and shot you? And he was like, I would have shot you back.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's not how this works,
okay.
You better hope you got all of them.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, but they don't need that now. They can just walk in your house if your door is not locked and they have probable cause. They can just walk in there and they're gonna make it sound to the point that they can get away with it,
and
which is so wrong
and that's
on so many levels.
Yep.
Like, what happened to my rights? How you just walk in my house?
Exactly.
Can I walk in your house?
No.
How about that?
You know what I mean? Can I walk in your house?
Not unless you're ready to clean it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like what you're seeing, I really believe what you're seeing is like the police are, I mean they always operated above the law, but because there's more videos, because there's more coverage, because we're seeing more and more police officers getting away with stuff. I mean, and stuff just on TV. Like, as a police officer, you have to feel emboldened. Like, it's probably impossible.
You close ranks.
Right.
You close ranks and you know what you can get away with.
Right.
And as long as you stick to that script.
Right.
Because you want to talk about video evidence of police brutality, like, that shit is like 25 years old now. Like, we've been seeing it forever.
Exactly.
Like, our entire adolescence and adult lives, we've seen this, right?
Right.
So, like, to the point now, like, I don't care what color the victim is, how old they are, where they were. They'll be like, some shot by cops. And be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I guarantee you somebody somewhere in a badge did something wrong.
Yeah.
And like the point you said, it doesn't fucking matter what they were actually doing.
I don't care
whether they were committing a crime or not.
It's not.
That's an American citizen and a human being. Does not deserve to get murdered on the street.
Right.
Right? You're not judge, jury, and executioner. You're do whatever it takes to apprehend the suspect, assess the situation, and let the next person in the chain file the charges. Right? Like, instead, it's just bang, 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 bang. You should have listened. You know, and then we go through it. You should have done this. You should have done this. You should have done this. And it's always, it doesn't, fuck you.
Then they went over.
There's not no, I should have done nothing.
I know it's probably proper procedure. I don't know how that shit works, but they put 20 bullets in this kid. Then they went over and handcuffed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done, fam.
Yeah, and they don't, you would think like, hey, you know, oh, still breathing? Maybe some CPR there, officer? Something. Like, nah, it's just fuck this human being.
You don't put
let him lay here and die and bleed out.
They're trained to shoot to kill.
You don't put 20
They are
bullets
trained. If they
in
have
an
to
animal.
pull out their gun, they are trained. You shoot to kill, but you shoot to kill because that man don't tell no story.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And can't sue you.
Exactly.
But now the family can, if anything ever happens to me, everybody better say they're related to me and get a piece of the
with how that goes. And they are. They're trained to shoot to kill. You can't, that man don't tell no stories. And you can't sue the department for nothing. And you know what started messing them up? When people started recording stuff. And
But they're still getting off.
Yeah.
You're right.
They catch it right on
You're
camera. Don't
right. You're
matter.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
We're just seeing it more. But most of these, I think a cop did go to jail for murder recently.
Oh,
Yo, but
South Carolina.
in that vein though,
And they said they were
there are
sketchy in there. Like,
They shot him in his back. He was running
Yeah.
away.
Running away, yes.
as problematic
And he like planted the gun on him too.
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
They've been doing that forever.
Yeah,
well, look,
that too.
they just
In Baltimore.
the
the
Baltimore
cops in
Police
Baltimore,
Department
yeah,
says
yeah.
basically
Setting
it
them
was
up.
like
they was planting
they were
drugs the same way they
trained.
did.
They were trained to plant weapons on suspects.
Had toy guns
Trained.
in the dash.
Right? I mean, that's fucking crazy,
And the
but
glove
also
compartments.
like not surprising because I'm pretty sure I heard those stories when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Wire.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But I mean, seriously though, it's really strange. And just on two things about the police, like, yo, my dad told me, I mean, from the time I can remember, is like, you don't call the police, and it wasn't about like a no snitching thing. It was like they're not here to help you. And he told me, so you don't call the police for shit. And if you find yourself in a situation where you need to call the police, you're already fucked. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm a kid, but I'm listening to this, and it's like, okay. And in the few times in my life where we had a situation that involved the police, I plainly saw that they did not help.
Yep.
You know, they did not help.
We don't call the police for anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
I'm
not
just saying,
even-
but my dad's a white man.
And it's
You know
not-
what I mean? So, you know, and he's telling me in 1987, like, fuck the police, more or less, is what he was saying long before it was popular. You know, like,
it's not even
like
like-
they ain't your friends, yo. You don't call them for nothing.
I'm not saying that we don't call the police because we're like some gangsters or some shit.
Yeah,
like
afraid to
that.
get caught. It's like, 'cause you ain't doing shit for us.
We don't call the police because my peoples are going to help me.
Exactly.
They're going to help me.
And you're probably just going to victimize me or exacerbate the situation.
Exactly. Talking about victimization, buddy. One of our first interactions, like as young teenagers, with the police, was when we were coming from the Chameleon. Now, mind you, we're in what, 8th grade, 14 years old. You know, summertime.
Just figuring out how to curse.
Right. The
Just
Chameleon just let out. All right, and this was when the Lancaster PD had the yellow shirts when they would just roll up on you.
They were the terrorists.
You know,
yo. Shout out to the terrorists.
They was rolling around.
And they definitely robbed me just as much as they would anybody else. Yo.
And they rolled up on us. Now, mind you, just got out the Chameleon. We're about 10
let out.
You're in a high drug traffic area.
It's a
like,
Sunday.
motherfucker, I'm in Lancaster
It's a Sunday
City.
because we don't have school that Monday. So it's a Sunday. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
They let us out of the Chameleon around 11:30, and next thing you know, I mean, they block off the street, and they hop out the paddy wagon, and then they tell us to get on the wall.
Yep, get on the wall.
Sit down,
your
get on the
pockets.
wall. We're like, yo, what's going on? We're just leaving the club, and they're basically entrapping us because they're like, well, you guys are all getting arrested for breaking curfew.
Yeah. Breaking now
Waiting for you to come out the Chameleon.
Waiting.
Yeah. Now, they shut the
And the drug
they shut
task
the
force.
street
The
down.
drug task force harassing
They shut the
14 and
street
15
down.
year olds.
Listen,
but we
they
all know that's
said,
what they
listen,
did.
We're kids.
They were trained for that.
We're
They were trained
kids.
to walk the
We're
fine
kids. I heard, and you remember this. I heard one cop say, "Hey, listen, if anybody gets up and run, spray them."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mason.
Right.
And they shut the street down. Remember in American Gangster, at the end of the scene, how they shut the street down when they arrested Frank Lucas?
Yeah.
That's how Water
Yeah.
Street looked.
Yeah,
Like-
and that was their whole tactic. Yo, but I think anyone in this city who was a teenager from like 92 to 05 had, if you spent any time outside of your vehicle or walking anywhere in the 6th, 7th, or 8th ward, you had a bad interaction with the drug task force.
Yes.
And that colors
Yeah,
colors you for the rest of your life, right? Because I mean, if my dad's already telling me fuck the police, and then I'm 13, I'm listening to music that's telling me to fuck the police, and then
Shout out to WF.
and then you know, but I mean, look, I remember being 15, going to the corner store to get some pizza, and standing out front talking to two cats I went to school with, and next thing I know, we're getting slammed on the curb, and our money's getting taken out of our pockets because they're saying we're standing on a drug corner, and I'm like, yo, I'm here like a couple times a week. I ain't never seen no handoff on this corner. It's 3 blocks down the street, officer. That's where you can go to score.
and
You know what I mean?
terrorists.
But you just stole
Yeah.
the fucking my newspaper route money, you asshole.
Right.
You know, and then their whole deal was your mom and your daddy gonna come down station to get your money or carry a pay stub. So at 15 years old,
Gotta carry
I
a
gotta
pay
know my friend's address of why I might be on that street. I gotta carry my pay stub with me at all times.
You can't get allowance.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But it was that thing, and the whole time, you know, I'm sitting there saying like, word, like, you guys got all this money and power and weight, and you're fucking with kids. Like, we're kids. We're kids. Do you really think we're the motherfuckers holding weight? Like, or that we even know who's holding weight? You know what I mean? Like,
It's just
just-
easy. It's just easy work.
Exactly.
They ran up on me when I had just gave birth to my daughter. I was outside of my apartment, and there was a no trespassing sign. I was waiting for someone to come around the bend to pick me and her up to take her to her first checkup, which is like a week after the baby's born. And they ran up on me like I killed somebody. I'm talking about multiple cars. I just looked like, what the fuck is going on? I thought maybe something happened in the building. No, they were there because I was sitting there with my baby in her car seat telling me that I'm trespassing. And I'm like, well, yeah, that would make sense, but I live here.
Right.
Oh, well, where's your ID? Showed them my ID. They're still talking hella shit. The one's getting hella smart. I'm getting super hella smart back because I just don't have tolerance. I just don't. And something told me, like, you know what? All right. So I ended up calling a family member of mine that's well respected and actually came up in the Lancaster police station. I called him and was like, your peoples is over here harassing me, and I'm gonna end up going to jail because I just can't deal with them. They're so disrespectful. He showed up and their whole demeanor just shut down.
Wow.
Like he was on some shit like, yo, that's my niece. Or like, what is you doing? And everything got shut down. Ticket got thrown away. He was like, how are you writing her a ticket? She lives here. Like, she's showing you her ID, which technically I don't have to do. I'm on my property. You didn't have any reason to really roll up on me the way that you did. And on top of that, I'm with a newborn.
Right.
But that was
They
my
don't give a
experience
shit,
with them, yo. Like it was.
Yo, well, shout
I'm
out to
selling
former
drugs.
Mayor Gray for disbanding that entire unit and making them a
Yeah, I
part
was
of
so
fucking
happy. I
history.
was so
They were
happy when they
horrible.
said they was getting rid of yellow shirts. And I was,
because they
We would
really.
walk through the park. They would just throw.
I mean, we
on the
did
floor
one
from
time.
the casket.
Yep.
Randomly, we'd be walking home and everyone would cut through the park, and yo, they would just flood us and just throw all the everybody on the
it's
ground. and
non-stop fucking with
run
kids.
their pockets.
Yeah,
It's fucking
because
with
I mean,
kids.
we used to come from the Y. We used to swim in the summertime, and we used to walk collectively as a group. You know, the Y is all the way on. What is that? The one that was on James Street at the time. It was by James Street.
Queen and Frederick.
Queen and Frederick.
Which now is just a pile of rubble.
But we live all the way in the 8th Ward.
Right.
So we would collectively
They're
walk
like, what is
as
this
a group.
pack of roving teenagers
Yeah.
doing?
And they would stop us and be
Enjoying
like,
a
"Yo."
nice sunny summer day. We gotta fuck them up.
Yep. And like you hear these stories repeatedly, and what's going to happen? Like, what am I
You're
going
like,
to
we're
tell my
swimming. They're like,
daughters?
we don't believe that. Black
You
people
know-
can't swim.
like, yo, we got towels over our shoulders.
Right.
You guys popped the water plug somewhere.
they gotta be doing something.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck the cops.
And it's that same type of thinking that has mass shooters like a Dylan Roof, like the one in Parkland, Cruz. It's that kind of thinking that keeps those shooters alive, and that keeps people like Trayvon and Tamir and
Right.
even Eric Gardner dead.
Right, we know that, I mean, I guess it starts in elementary school, really. We know that discipline, if we could call it that, whatever the authority is, whether it's a teacher or the state, police, whatever, disproportionately affects people of color from early childhood on up. And it's not even a minute fraction. We're talking double, triple, quadruple. And it's that right there. If you look at that data, and even if you're just like, it's not my reality, so I don't understand it. But it's like, but here's compiled data from like all over the country, like not one place, not cherry picked, from all over the country, from across decades, to show you that racism is systemic and endemic, and it's a problem, and it's detrimental to communities. And you still be like, well, what did they do to deserve it?
Yeah. Well, here's the shit. We're seeing all this shit. You have black people crying out saying, yo, fam,
Can we live?
They've been doing us dirty
Can we live?
forever.
Yeah, black people saying our lives matter, and people are like, but, and you're like, wait, yo, we're just saying we want to live. That's all we're
You
asking
say Black
for.
Lives Matter, and they got the gall to say all lives matter. Fam, we didn't say your life didn't
Right.
matter. We never said
Yeah.
that. We want to live.
Yeah.
Can we live like
Yeah.
y'all live? Like what?
Yeah, but that's how backward we are. In the 60s, it was, we want civil rights. We want equality. Now it's like, we just really just want to live. We just want y'all to let us live.
Right.
And it's still,
Whether
how
it's-
dare you bring up this request? Like, Jesus.
You got my man Colin Kaepernick. He's gonna kneel for police brutality.
Right.
And you talking about you worried about the fucking song saying he's disrespecting the flag? Fam, he never disrespected the flag. He's trying to make a silent statement.
Yeah.
And he brought national attention to it, and you're still mad at him. He still doesn't have
And
a job.
he
'cause
actually
stood up.
had the consideration to listen to people who he respected, who criticized him, and changed his protest.
Yep.
And other people joined it. And all he wanted was a conversation. So, now he's public enemy number one. And that's a tactic we've all discussed here. Now he's anti-American. He's unpatriotic. He's ungrateful. Like,
Man,
tell this rich black guy to shut up and play ball, basically.
I've heard him compare.
Entertain us.
I've heard him compared to Johnny Manziel,
Yeah.
who was a drug addict, drunk, who got kicked out the league. He don't have a job because he was a fuck up.
Yeah.
And you're comparing Kaepernick, who did nothing but good.
Right.
And you're comparing him.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this is the same country. This is the same
Led his team
country.
to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, shout out to the Niners.
Yeah. It's bonkers, man. But yo, as sad and scary and uneasy as all this stuff is, we also see that these kids of today, man, that, you know, they're tomorrow's voters, and they're awake, and they're listening, and they're watching, and they're fucking pissed,
Yep.
and they're disappointed, and they ain't sitting around for this shit no more.
Definitely
And
woke.
you're gonna see. I mean, I don't want to say it because I feel like I've been jinxing it, but yo, imagine these midterm elections are coming up, and like just yesterday, we had 800 marches and protests all across the country, right? You know, probably 2-3 million people divided up amongst all of them. A lot of them were young, young kids who registered to vote over this weekend.
Right.
And they're going to vote in this upcoming midterm. And they're going to vote in every election going forward. And they've got progressive tendencies. And like I said, they're fucking pissed.
I think I saw something like just Saturday alone. I think it was at 80,000 or 800,000 across the nation, new voters.
It was 80,000. They reported 80,000 new voters
80,000 new
registered.
voters, yeah.
80,000 in one day.
Yeah, that's
In one damn day.
yeah, that's
Mostly kids.
yeah, and
Teenagers, yep.
and what I
First time
love
voters.
what I love is that like for like our generation, I think that we woke up, we became activated in like our 20s. You know what I mean? Like that's when like the large groups of us really started to push and get involved in everything. Yes, you have your outliers that got involved younger. Yes, you got your outliers that got involved when they were older. But for the most part, in our generation, it's like in the 20s you got involved. For this generation, what we're seeing is that these kids are getting activated 14, 15,
Right.
16 years old. So by the time they get to that voting age, you know, they're salivating at the mouth
Right.
at 17
Yeah,
years old.
yeah, they're
like, yo,
waiting.
I can't wait to vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same
And
way
they've
that...
spent the last couple years paying attention.
Exactly. And it's beautiful because, like, it's like, all right, for us, when we were 17 turning 18, we were like, oh, man, I can't wait to buy that first pack of cigarettes,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know,
But we
and then
didn't-
now...
these kids have all the info in their hands.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
we didn't have that
Right.
shit. And,
Yeah.
and most of us as teenagers, we didn't watch the news.
Exactly.
So we wasn't getting all that shit.
And we
Right.
also had like a disconnect.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because we were like fuck the police, and we didn't trust our leadership, and we also didn't know how to look for the information, and if we did, we didn't find anybody that we felt was authentic. But now these kids
It's
see
easy access to
these
it.
kids, man.
Yeah.
They see,
Yeah.
and you know, some
I
people say
hear
like,
my
"Oh, these kids are
teenagers
being
now.
used for an agenda." Well, you know, then it's fucking brilliant, and I'm
Yeah.
with that agenda then because
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
they ain't taking this shit no more, and we gotta support them.
You're definitely going to see a big change coming. Like, I think the old school way of thinking is almost extinct. Like, I don't think racism is going anywhere, but I think the old school way of doing things
Right.
is about to change. Like,
We got to get rid of that the holdovers from like the 80s moral majority movement where everything was bad and evil and there's everything's an agenda.
Don't
and
stir the
we're-
pot.
Yeah, and
Right.
like
Don't stir
right,
the pot. Now
like,
these kids
the old
like,
school,
we all
yeah,
stirring
right,
the
yeah.
pot.
The old
That's-
school, like
they're
the old
kicking the
school,
pot over.
Yeah.
Like for us, you know, for me, it's called WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. You don't talk about money, religion, or politics. And it's like, oh, great. So you don't talk about anything that affects
Matters.
everybody,
Right.
anything that matters, anything that can help people heal, recover from trauma, and change. You just suck it all up, hide it all, and pretend none of it happened. Well, that's fucking stupid and dangerous, and we're done with that shit. You know,
Yeah, these kids
so
is educated, and
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
my teens talk. Sometimes they'll sit down and they'll talk with Billy, and just to hear some of the opinions and the stuff that sometimes I don't bring up to them, but they already know because someone said something at school.
and you're like,
or
damn, I'll
go baby. Like I just
you know, I
because
was keeping it a buck with my kids from the rip.
man,
like,
they've been going to all types of museums.
They
since
was in
they
first
young.
grade. Like, Dad, we're off for Columbus Day. fuck Columbus.
Yeah. Fuck Christopher Columbus.
My daughter actually got suspended from like K-5 because they were doing Christopher Columbus Day activities, and she stood up and said, well, my dad said that he's a murderer and they were still living here.
Yep.
They literally called him and said she is so disobedient and
Oh, man.
she
That's fucked up.
all this
Yeah, it
stuff,
is.
and they suspended her for that. I mean, needless to say, we pulled her out of private school because
Next time you
it
say
wasn't
that,
for
throw
her.
your fist in there.
I did that at a PTA meeting earlier this year, and they were like, well, and I was like, oh, no, there's no, I'm not done. And I said, look, I don't expect the curriculum to change, but what I do expect is for, like, you're all college educated teachers with degrees, probably have children of your own. It's like you're working in a school district, willfully telling lies to children that are the descendants of this man's victims. Some of those kids are mine. Mm-hmm. I don't want you telling my children that this man is some kind of hero. Right. And they were like, we understand it. I said, you don't understand it all the fuck you want. When's it going to stop?
Right.
And now my kid is in kindergarten, right? And the teacher, awesome, on her, did an entire thing about indigenous Americans and their customs. You know what I mean? And just said, Christopher Columbus was a sailor and we have the day off for him, right? I mean, that's it. And then when they talked about it again, they said, my son said, well, the teacher said some people say he discovered America, but people were already living here, so he couldn't have discovered it. He just landed here. And I'm like, cool, he's in kindergarten. When he gets, a couple years from now, I'm be like, yeah, you need to let motherfuckers know that's some bullshit. Mm. But at the same time, you look at the whole Christopher Columbus thing, and you see, like, this man wasn't celebrated as a hero from the beginning of our democracy. It was, go back to that problematic era of the 40s and 50s when we were trying to create the modern, perfect American society that excluded everybody that didn't fit the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant thing. Mm-hmm. The Catholics were pissed because they were losing their grips on power, so they needed an American hero and a holiday, and it's always we gotta pit ourselves against each other and give each other a win or a loss instead of being together and saying, we can't celebrate these evil people. We cannot celebrate these evil people and hold them up as an ideal of Americana.
Ain't that a bitch that they fought to make Christopher Columbus a hero, but they fought against Martin Luther King?
Yeah. I mean, are you surprised?
John McCain specifically.
How racist do you have to be to not want a day off?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
That's like some next level.
Yeah.
You telling me I can get a paid day off?
So if David Duke's birthday was a national holiday, you'd be like, yeah, give me that day off.
Well, I mean, look at...
Yes, I'm going to sit my ass at home. I'm going to talk shit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sit my ass at home and collect that paycheck.
Like, look at what's going
in the South, they definitely have off for Jefferson Davis's birthday, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
Look at what's going on with, like in the South with immigration right now. Talking about some people will spite their face, cut off their nose to spite their face. Like some people against immigration. I'm against immigration. The illegals need to go and everything. When in fact there are a lot of immigrants and a lot of illegal aliens that take those type jobs that no other, know.
Well, we shouldn't say illegal alien. That's not even the term we should use.
All right, the non-PC being
they do all the work that we don't want to do.
Exactly.
They ain't taking nobody's job from them. They're taking the work that nobody wants to do.
Exactly.
And they're doing it, and they're getting paid shit to do it, and they're dangerous jobs. They don't have protections. They ain't getting insurance. They ain't getting Social Security. They ain't getting health care. They ain't getting none of that shit.
Right. And I don't think, like, people... I don't think
But
people
they're paying in. They're paying into these things. Yeah. And we are benefiting from it.
But then we, us... They are also cutting that whole ecosystem off by shipping them out, because of racism. Like that's
all it boils down to.
Exactly.
And then they're like, why is my avocados cost 3 times as much as it did 2 months ago? Because fucking Hector ain't here to pick it, asshole.
Right. And I don't think that again. I don't think like people realize like these farmers. When I was in Philly, I saw it. Like these farmers, these immigrants, like
exercise is bad.
Yeah, and they'll chill like
I
in the
watched the whole
parking lot.
documentary.
Yeah.
It's and they have kids doing
Right,
it.
yeah.
It's bad. Like,
And-
some of
and
these
not
kids are
only that-
dying and they're undocumented.
Right.
So
Right.
They got
their
nothing.
life don't
And
matter.
Exactly.
and to go further, if they are the victim of a crime, they ain't calling the fucking cops.
Exactly.
You know? So if
Yeah.
their daughter gets raped or they get assaulted or robbed or
Yep.
something, they ain't calling the cops. They're just keeping it moving.
And that's
and for
real.
the ones that came here like a real treacherous journey. So like a lot of the, especially if they're from South or Central America, we know they have left places that were fucking dangerous beyond anything we can even imagine,
We just
right?
talked about that yesterday, didn't
So
we?
to the point where it's like,
How
hey,
other countries are
we're
crazy and
extorting
dangerous
you,
as hell.
or we're gonna
yeah.
kill you.
Yeah.
So they leave. And they travel through a shitload of other countries where they probably were assaulted, robbed, had to pay bribes. Then they get on dangerous train crossings. Then they got to cross rivers and deserts.
They make
And
it
then
here,
get
leave
here.
'em here.
Yeah, and then get here and hide in the shadows, get a job, contribute to the community, contribute to our economy, fucking pick all of our fucking food for us,
Right.
make our pizzas and pasta and shit for us, right? And then we're like, fuck you, you bastard, get out of our country, you're making us terrible. And it's like, yo, they're our bloodline, our backbone. And honestly, if you had the wherewithal to go through all of that shit, motherfucker, I want you to live beside me.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? I want to
You
work
got-
with you because you are the
got-
type of person that will make us better.
Right.
Your tenacity, your will to work and strive to achieve, like, because that is what we are all lacking as a society. We're all complacent. Like, as we talk about, America's fat as fuck. Like, so fat that we can't even fill our military quotas because our kids coming out of high school that we want to turn into killing machines are too fucking fat and lazy to qualify.
Overweight.
I mean, that's some shit right there.
Well, yeah, they said the United States got the worst diet in the world.
Yeah. It's
They
all
said
that,
our
all
food
that
is illegal
process.
outside of other countries.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's all
I was just
processed
about to say
bullshit.
that.
Our food is
I
illegal in other
watched a
countries.
documentary
You didn't see
about
where we
that.
sent all that chicken to China and they sent it back?
They say, and plus we over medicate the fuck out of our kids. As soon as they got their own opinion or voice or don't want to sit there and shut up and look at the chalkboard, this motherfucker needs some medicine.
There's a
And then we
lot
got an
of-
opioid
there's a lot of different,
crisis.
You could send whatever over here. It doesn't matter. The FDA almost lets everything else pass. You go to different countries. They have organic fast food restaurants. They don't have.
It's wild.
Some of their meats can't be processed with certain ingredients and chemicals. Can't have certain antibiotics put into their food, and we don't have as many, or they're not as
then-
strict.
Dude, half
Then
of
also-
our food ain't even food.
all the-
Absolutely, absolutely.
All the good shit that we do have be expensive as shit.
Right.
If,
Right.
if I go to a restaurant,
Because it's so much harder to get that to market than it is the mass-produced processed bullshit.
and if I'm living off of whatever $20,000-$30,000 a year, and I go to
Right.
the fucking restaurant and a salad is $7, but you got a burger for 99 cents.
Yeah.
Give me the fucking burger. Give me
Right.
3 of them shits.
Yeah.
Right.
A 2
And a-
liter of
and a
Coke is
soda.
99 cents and a
Right.
bottle. Yeah. A 2 liter of Coke is 99 cents and a bottle of water is $2.50.
Right. There
You're like,
go.
are you kidding me?
It's intentional.
You know what I mean? Like, exactly.
intentional.
Because there's a sugar lobby.
Yep.
Because there's a dairy lobby. There's a fucking chicken and egg lobby.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And to the point where you can, like, so you guys clowned about me eating vegan or whatever, and I'm like, you know, plant-based as much as I can in my groceries. But you go to the grocery store and you're like, they say this is vegetarian, and I look at this shit and it's like, oh, the bread crust has milk powder in it. Like, why the fuck would there be milk powder in this? You know what I mean? Like, I make bread, I don't put milk in it.
They just adding shit for no
Yeah,
reason.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Man,
It brings
listen.
costs down.
Yeah,
They add certain things that brings costs
it's cheaper
down.
to
It's
feed
cheaper
us
to
the
make
bullshit.
it.
Then
Absolutely.
they,
But
then
if
they're
we-
cloning animals
but
down
if
all
you-
this shit.
But we are an agricultural mecca. This whole country is an agricultural giant. We export grain and corn and all kinds of shit around the world. And we can grow pretty much anything here. We really could. California alone, you can grow anything in California. But Lancaster County, like, there's no reason that vegetables shouldn't be dirt cheap here. Now, Lancaster City, we have a lot of people that have, farmers markets and grow their own stuff.
Right up on the
and,
farm.
Yeah,
That's
and
what-
you can get stuff really cheap, great prices around here. But that's not everywhere. There's food deserts everywhere, and it's ridiculous because there's no reason any kid in this country shouldn't be able to get cheap, fresh fruit and vegetables.
One thing that I really liked that Jersey did when I was living in Jersey, that they had these stores called Produce Junction, and in this store it was like basically it was like fresh fruits and vegetables in bulk. So like you could get a big 5-pound bag of peppers for $3.
That's great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was all kinds of fresh fruits and vegetables. And I mean we would go there with like $20. And I mean we would have such an abundance of like onions and potatoes and other fruits and vegetables and everything like that we had to freeze some of it so that it wouldn't spoil in the refrigerator because we had such an abundance. Now mind you, we were only spending about $20.
And you were getting
We-
a shitload of groceries.
We would for the vegetables and for the fruits, we would be good with that $20. We would be good for about 2, almost 3 weeks. I mean, it was.
And that's wild.
It was a
Because
lot.
if you went to the grocery store, you get a quart of strawberries, a melon, 3 apples, and some celery. It would cost you $20.
Yeah,
And you're like, eat that in 2 days.
40.
Yeah.
right. And this stuff like on the store. I mean, because I talked to them. Produce Junction, like they have some kind of on contract with like certain farms in New Jersey. So then that farm,
Those are
like
really
they
good
have,
prices for Jersey alone.
Yeah, and like they like set aside a plot of land, like a plot specifically for Produce Junction. Like, okay, I'm a corn grower for Produce Junction, so I'm going to set aside this little piece of land specifically for Produce Junction, and then have somebody has a contract for like peppers and potatoes and everything, and it's like a whole farmer ecosystem that works with this store. And they have one store in Philly right now. The prices aren't as dramatic, but I think that's something that Pennsylvania should certainly look at because we have.
And there's no reason that they can't do that.
Exactly.
That
Except
should be
for
everywhere
greed.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they, again, Lancaster, I mean, even in Berks County, if you drive outside of the city, anytime, late spring to early fall, you can pull over the side of the road on an Amish farm. Maybe they got a building with the shit out there looking all pretty, or
That's
maybe
their
they just
shit.
got a little sign on the side of the road. But you can get shit for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
You can fill up sacks
Yeah.
for $20,
Yep.
and that's awesome. I mean,
Some
like
of them just got like a
some of them are big time, been
some of
around
them
for
just
20
got
years.
like a basket out
Yeah,
there.
right.
Just
It's
drop
like
the money in
yeah,
your
trust system.
and it's great, and that's fantastic, and you get all kinds of banging shit, but again, there's places that aren't like that, and they're only 10 miles away from that kind of good nutrition and food, but it's not making it to where it's needed,
Like the
and
Second
it's only
War.
been in the last 8 to 10 years that even like like public assistance like WIC and food stamps or SNAP benefits have been able to be used at farmers markets to buy fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. You think, like, how has that not been allowed for decades already? But the powers that be authorities have always used food as a weapon in America, and long before this country was ever
That's the
conceived
most
of.
dangerous weapon right
Yeah,
now.
food is the weapon.
Listen, I don't have any kind of dope segue, but I definitely want to talk about your boy. I was trying to stay off of Donald Dick today, but he told Joe Biden he can catch these hands and feet on Twitter. What's up, though? We got to talk about it, man.
If
The
there was-
president said you can get these
He
hands.
with the shits. He don't care.
Right.
Shits, he don't care.
Yeah.
Is there any clearer sign that we need a serious change in government when 2 70-year-old ass fucking retards are talking about they could beat each other's ass?
I thought it was a meme.
I thought it was too.
I
Oh,
love
you were
to
like, wait,
see
these
it,
guys are
though.
really
Like,
talking
Remember the
this
meme
shit?
scene when Joe Biden was lifting weights, saying he's
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
First of all, he don't want it with Joe.
absolutely
I
not.
think Joe
I think,
bust Trump's
yeah,
ass,
I
bro.
think he give.
I mean, they
birth
both hurt themselves,
Joe
but he don't
with
want
the
it with
shits.
Joe.
Joe's
Yeah.
all the way with the shit.
Yeah,
and gives
Joe
zero
done lost.
fucks.
Joe done lost 2 kids
Right.
and
Yeah.
his wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think he got
he
some
been
anger
telling
built
us
up.
he been telling us for as long as we can remember he's a tough son of a bitch. He's
Yeah.
probably one of the only tough guys that's allowed to say he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Like,
I fuck with
yeah,
Joe,
he
man.
don't want it with.
I think both of them got to hold the L though
Yeah.
because fam, what
Just
the fuck
stop.
are you doing?
Yeah, just stop. Like,
What
yo,
are you doing?
yeah,
Why
you
is
Joe
it-
Biden, you're not. If you run in 2020, we ain't voting for you, bruh. Like, it was cool having you hang out with Barack and shit, but we was clowning you the whole time.
Man,
Like,
he
we're not
could've
voting
been
for you,
damn
homie.
near 80,
Yeah, we're not
right,
voting
that's
for you,
crazy.
bro.
2020 he be like I like Joe, but nah,
But
fam.
he's also like a creepy uncle, touchy feely motherfucker too. You know what I mean? Let's not forget.
have,
He's,
like,
Not forget that.
he,
Yeah.
I'm sure they just protecting him from the Me Too movement because he like to feel people up.
You know there's a whole lot of Me Too shit going
Yeah.
on in politics.
Oh yeah,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
just caught the outsider when
They got the hush money.
but they jammed up the comedian bro.
Yeah.
Al Franken.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they got him.
They did him
Yeah,
dirty.
They got him.
I think it's because he was an outsider,
Yeah.
but
They needed a Democrat to fall on their sword too.
it's about to come down the pipe though, because
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels ain't playing today
Yeah.
on 60 Minutes.
That and,
So you think she's gonna spill the beans? And if she does, no one's gonna care, except for the people that already care. But it's not gonna.
I think she's gonna tell everything. I don't
Yeah.
think, like you said, nobody's gonna give a shit.
Yeah.
When,
Nothing's gonna be done about
we
it.
spoke about this before. When Trump
Be like
said
he likes a finger in
when
his
Trump
butt.
said I could stand in the middle of the
Yeah.
street and point a gun and shoot somebody. And
Yeah, he
people
was being prophetic.
That was the truest shit he ever said.
Yeah.
This motherfucker don't say shit right no other time.
No.
That was right.
Yo, I mean, look, we had this nationwide March for Our Lives, and this guy's playing golf and dead silent. You know, meanwhile, the NRA's like assaulting the student leaders. You know, they're like attacked because they're scared. You know, they're
Yep.
scared. They should be. 80,000 voters registered in one day, and they're all young because they're coming for you. They're coming for your fucking guns, bro. But they're.
I didn't
But
hear him
good
say
people on
nothing.
both sides.
I didn't hear,
yeah,
I didn't hear him
Yeah.
say nothing about the Sacramento shooting.
right.
either.
There was
about
good
that?
people working in the concentration camps, right?
Right,
Like, come
yeah.
on, man.
He's
We just following orders.
he's man. Listen, I don't know, but I would probably pay to watch that though.
Wow, watch them two.
Yeah.
Let it happen.
Watch them two smack each other up.
Just let him get
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
3-minute round.
Yeah, yo, it would, yo.
You ever
Yo.
see the
That
old
shit would
people fights on Facebook?
Yeah.
Swinging on slow.
That shit is hilarious, yo.
He's Joe's sitting in the corner getting ice cream between rounds. Like
Somebody
Donald's
always
over there
just
eating a
dropped
Big Mac.
But Donald don't eat nothing but KFC and McDonald's. He-
Yo, he would hurt himself. You know he's afraid of stairs, right? Like he's afraid of steps. You know you're fucking old and feeble when you're like, them steps might do me in.
Like, is there escalator?
Yeah.
Oh man, wow.
Listen, I don't know, man. I think we're about out of time. Oh man, it's been a good one. Once again, don't forget next month. Plug your shit again.
Next April 14th. Like I said, April 14th is going down Village Nightclub, DJ Diamond Cuts. My man DJ Matt is going to do the opening set. So shout out to DJ Matt, man. If you can make it early, get in there early for DJ Matt's set. New upcoming DJ from Lancaster City. But April 14th, DJ Diamond Cuts at the Village. Tickets are going to be sold at the door, $20. We're there from 10 to 2. Come through, pull up, and good vibes only. You already know.
Make sure you pull up for that #1 party promoter in the city. Anybody else got anything they want to say? We're building the Regal Finesse site. Thank you to everybody who supported the pre-launch and bought the female tees that we already have out. We got a lot more coming.
We got some cute stuff coming out. You know, I have my hands all over that.
That's the president of Regal Finesse right there. Yeah, man, we out. Sayless, episode 5.
Yeah.
See y'all next week.
Peace.
See ya.